hard. Drive, down. Up, drive, down. Up, down. Come on. All right, what's going on, guys? So today we are going through a straight glute and hamstring routine. I have with me here Miss Amanda, and she's gonna run it with me here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work through several different movement patterns and exercises that are going to hit the glute max, glute med, a little bit of piriformis, working internal, external rotation, hip extension too as well to maximize glute hypertrophy, and then also hit the hamstrings. We're also gonna finish off with calves and tibialis. Let's get into it. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on opening up the hip capsule. So we're gonna do what's called controlled articular rotations. You guys know what this is if you've been watching my channel. It's an FRC principle, but we're gonna open up and work on getting range of motion built in to that hip capsule to allow us to get into extension, internal, external rotation of the hip. Around, squeeze the glute, open, up, 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 up. Good, bring it through. Good, all right? If you do it right, you're activating the muscles to allow for that range of motion of the hip capsule, the ball and socket joint to occur, right? So the goal really is to activate the muscle, and that's what we're doing right now. We're turning on the muscles and increasing range of motion. Okay. So we're gonna turn on the abs, the rectus abdominals, right? We're gonna do what's called mountain climbers, but we're gonna do it more of a controlled fashion. And I'm not gonna round like this. I'm just gonna get it to where I feel my abs turn on. Then bring it back to the wall, other side. Your abs should be on the whole time. Blow out, and then breathe in. If you do it right, you'll feel rectus abdominals, TVA, a little bit of obliques too as well, and obviously some hip flexors. It's not a workout, it's not really to, obviously burn it out, but we want to activate it. So now we have these turned on, your rib cage, everything's locked in. Foot against the wall, we're gonna drive forward, right? You're not gonna lean back. So you're gonna drive forward, get a stretch over here on the hamstring, get a stretch on the hip flexor on the far side. Good, come back out of it, so push back, get a stretch on the quad. All right, then back down again, 10 seconds. 10, 9, make sure you squeeze the glute. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're gonna work our way into extension and internal, external rotation. Okay. Because we're opening up the hips, so we're still warming up, okay? Go, hold it right there. Now, you're gonna kick this leg back because you wanna get into extension, right? Now, abs are tight, good. From here, I want you to internally rotate, good. And then I want you to externally rotate, right? Now, the only thing I don't want you doing when you externally rotate is don't let this knee collapse, okay? Right, so you gotta keep external rotation there, right? So now, rotating it out and turn on those external rotators, keep them on, all right? Yeah. From there, then internal rotation, I want you to actually drive everything. There you go. So the shoulder rotates, now you'll feel that load into the back hip. So what you don't want to do when you're going and doing these kickback movements is to try to go too far out, because then, especially females, they tend to put it into the low back because the range of motion isn't there. Now you're trying to get range of motion and you're using the low back to gain more range. Just get to the end of where you can fully contract the glute, especially the glute max, because that's what we're isolating, and then work it back in. This is only an activation technique or something to turn on those fibers to allow us to actually produce more force with other compound movements. Listen, at the end of the day, like I always say, as an athlete, you need to have strong glutes, you need to have strong hamstrings. So these are one of the key fundamental things that we'll do from an accessory standpoint, not just from a aesthetic standpoint, but it's actually to help with performance. Make sure you pay attention. Good, 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 good. Now get your knees up, bring your knees up. Come on, let's go. There you go, keep going. That's it, come on, dig, get up. Get them going, keep going. Keep going, come on. Good, come on, work. Good, keep going, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of our work. So we just finished up with the dynamic stretch, the activation, the range of motion stuff. Now we're actually putting more load on. And so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna use the belt squat, and I'm gonna do belt squat marching. What it's gonna do is help with stabilizing the pelvis, but also activating glute med, piriformis, as you're marching. So every time you march, you gotta stabilize yourself. And I'm also, again, working a little bit of quads too as well, but mainly we're focusing on the hips and the glutes. So as I step, I'm actually lifting up my hip and driving my hip up into my rib cage. There's several variations that you can do. Then I can start going into the knees, bringing my knees up, and then driving into hip extension on the other side. I can go super wide. It's really gonna hit the outside, really gonna go ahead and now work on hip extension and staying in hip extension as the weight is distributed on my hips. Feeling it a lot in glute max right now. Glute med, a little bit of piriformis. I can feel it deeper into the glutes. Ham tie in right here. So she's staying in extension, but again, the weight is distributed on her hips. So once I pull her down into flexion, but we're maintaining an isometric tension, and it's a quasi-isometric because she's moving too as well, dynamically on the lower extremity. Dig, 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 keep going. Give me 15 seconds. Come on. Non-stop, keep going. If you want to train with me virtually, we have online one-on-one coaching available now. Link is in the description. Again, you get all my programming, all the systems, everything else that I do here in the gym, but you can do it virtually, so check it out. All right, so right now we're gonna work our way into barbell glute bridges. With this, it allows us to get more isolation on glute max as opposed to quad and hamstring with the hip bridge. Because when you go to the hip bridge, as you come down, your knees want to shoot back a little bit more, causing you to push more through the or pull through the hamstrings and push through the quad. So now, as we get into that low position, not going too far into hip flexion, she's right into extension and then back down to neutral. The only other thing I'm gonna tell her is bring your feet in closer, just like the squat, and keep them inside like this. As you turn your knees out like that, into that external rotation, it's not efficient when you're trying to isolate glute max. Good. Come on. Come on. Good. Let's go. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Drive. Down. Up. Drive. Down. Up. Down. Come on. Let's go. All right, so with the dumbbells, I'm getting me like a quarter half squat position, trying to lengthen out as much as I possibly can, the hamstrings and the glutes, getting a slight torso lean forward. And then as I drive up, I'm obviously getting a glute squeeze at the top, 45-degree back extension with a glute emphasis. Goal isn't to get into that extension of the spine, so we're trying to leave our erectors out of it. Just get that relaxing the low back and then driving the hips in, squeezing the glutes. Full glute max activation. Come on. Good, pull it closer. Bend your elbows, pull it into your chest. Now hit it. Yep. All right, man, like I said, if you wanna learn and train like this, check out the one-on-one online coaching. Sending my coaches out virtually. So if you are someone anywhere around the world that wants to train with Daru Strong methods, with one of my Daru Strong coaches or myself, click the link down below to start now.
I'm not into like taking shit or whatever, so I like to stay 100% natural, real food, water, workout, sleep. With me, like kind of putting it out there, everyone's asking me, like, okay, what do you should start taking this, you should start taking this. Like, let me know if you want to start taking this, because I'll guide you how to properly get
how old
properly
are you?
get off.
How old
I'm just like,
how old are you?
I'm 23. And when I'm in the gym already, I already lift heavy. I can already last long. Like, you know, I already do everything. So I'm like, if I'm already doing this and other people can't even keep up with me when I go, and all I hear is, you know, none of the pros are natural, right?
Now, as far as people trying to tell you to get on, you know, performance enhancing drugs, steroids, whatever, supplements, at the end of the day, you're 23, right?
Yeah.
Super young, let your genetics work for themselves and let your hard work speak for themselves. The minute you start putting in extra shit, your time clock starts. All right, so there you have it. We worked the lengthen range, the shorten range, the mid range, glutes, hamstrings, working extension, working a little bit of glute ham raise work. So hitting the glutes, getting the hamstrings involved. Again, the posterior chain, not just for aesthetics, it's also for athletics. So when you're trying to improve your ability to produce power, produce force, right? Mitigate the risk of injury, especially for the knees and the hips. You definitely want to work on the backside. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification, hit the like button. See you again next time. Peace.